Have you ever had your heart shattered so suddenly, so violently? It felt like your whole world cracked like glass under a storm. Well, listen to me. That heartbreak, that wasn't your ending. That was your awakening, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you something right now. When he breaks your heart, and I mean really breaks it, like a windshield being torn apart in a hailstorm, don't you dare collapse into pieces. Don't sit there questioning your worth, asking, "What's wrong with me?" No. You need to stand in front of that mirror, look yourself straight in the eyes, and say, "Wait a minute, what's right with me?" Because if he had the nerve, the audacity to let go of a woman like you, then it's not your heart that needs fixing. It's his ego that needs a serious reality check. A broken heart doesn't mean you're broken. It means you love deeply. It means you are real in a world full of people who fake everything. It means he underestimated your power. He thought he could walk away, mistreat you, hurt you, and watch you crumble. He assumed you would lose your identity, that you'd sit in silence waiting for an apology or a text that was never coming. He thought you'd beg, chase, or break down. But oh, how wrong he was. Let me tell you something powerful. A broken heart doesn't define you. It reveals you. It strips away the illusion, the fantasy you built around him, and shows you who you were always meant to be. You don't discover your strength when life is perfect. You discover it when everything falls apart. He mistook your kindness for weakness. He couldn't see that loving hard takes bravery. He assumed that because you were soft, you were naive, that because you gave freely, you had no limits. But real love, the kind of love you offered, comes with vulnerability, courage, and unmatched loyalty. And he didn't recognize it. He saw your loyalty as routine, your love as ordinary. What he didn't realize was that the version of you he had access to, that was premium. That was once in a lifetime. And he fumbled it. See, a man with a fragile ego will never know how to love a woman with a powerful soul. He won't know how to handle someone who challenges him to grow, someone who doesn't settle, someone who shows up complete, ready, and real. So when he broke your heart, it wasn't because you lacked anything. It was because you had too much depth, too much ambition, too much truth. And instead of rising to meet you, he ran from the mirror you held up to his soul. But here's the twist, and this is what he never saw coming. When he walked away, he expected you to fall. He expected tears, silence, and desperation. What he didn't expect was the rise. That moment when you stop crying and start creating. When you stop replaying the pain and start remembering your power. That's when everything shifts. Because a woman who rises from heartbreak, she doesn't come back the same. She comes back wiser. She comes back with stronger boundaries, louder self-worth, and a crystal clear vision of who is and who is not worthy of her love. Let's be honest. He didn't break you. He broke the illusion. He shattered the image you built of him, not of yourself. And now that you see clearly, You'll never settle for anything less than real again. The truth is, that relationship had been decaying for a long time, like a house infested with termites, and when it collapsed, you finally saw it for what it was. You saw that the love you gave wasn't being matched. You saw the imbalance. You realized you had been doing emotional backflips just to keep things together while he was out there, floating effortlessly, giving his attention to someone else. That realization, it hurt deeply, but at the same time, it freed you because you can't fix what someone refuses to admit is broken. You can't pour into someone who doesn't even bother to bring a cup. Now, you get to rebuild, but this time, you're not rebuilding for him. You're rebuilding for you. And slowly, you're beginning to understand. Heartbreak doesn't make you less worthy. It doesn't make you any less beautiful. It doesn't erase your value. If anything, it refines it. It teaches you what you should never tolerate again. It shows you what kind of love will never be acceptable in your life again. It sharpens your instincts because you gave your heart in good faith. And now you're learning to protect it, not with walls, but with wisdom. He underestimated your strength because he never truly saw it. He saw your body. He saw your beauty. He saw your presence. But he never really looked into your soul, the most sacred part of you. That's why he could break your heart so carelessly. He didn't realize that the woman standing in front of him was divine. And when a man overlooks divinity, he always loses, every time. Because God doesn't create women like you to be wasted. He creates women like you to be witnessed, to be honored, to be cherished. And when you rise, when you evolve from that heartbreak, you don't just recover, you become a force. You become someone even you are proud of. Because the best revenge, it's not bitterness, is leveling up. When someone plays with your heart, abuses your trust, takes your loyalty for granted, your first instinct is to strike back. You want them to feel the pain they gave you. You want them to know what it's like to be ignored, disrespected, dismissed. That's a very human reaction. But let me tell you something that will shift your entire mindset. Real revenge doesn't come from getting even. It comes from refusing to lower yourself to their level. Bitterness is a trap. It looks strong, but it's really just weakness in disguise. It keeps you tied to the very person who hurt you. You think you're winning by holding on to the pain, talking about them constantly, trying to expose them or make them jealous. But what you're actually doing is keeping them alive in your system. And baby, they already walked out the door. Why are you still letting them live rent-free in your mind? When you operate from bitterness, you're still giving this situation control over your life. And you deserve so much better than that. Leveling up means you stop playing the game they put you in. They broke your heart expecting you to spiral, to act out, to post dramatic stories, to send long, desperate messages they don't even read. But when you choose elevation over reaction, it catches them completely off guard. They don't Know what to do with a woman who doesn't explode in rage, but grows instead. A woman who doesn't chase, but changes. Who doesn't crumble, but climbs. You'll level up the moment you shift the focus from them back to you. You take your power back when you start asking better questions. Not why did he leave, but why did I stay so long? Not what did I do wrong, but what did I learn from this? You begin to heal, not because they came back, not because they apologized, but because you finally chose yourself. You signed up for that gym membership, not to chase a revenge body, but to revive the one you abandoned while trying to keep someone else happy. You're not working out to prove a point to him. You're showing up for yourself, body and soul. You start taking care of your mind, feeding it with better thoughts, with goals you once put on hold just to play the cheerleader for a man who couldn't even clap for you. You level up, not by being louder, not by proving anything, but by becoming unavailable to anything that remotely looks like what once broke you. You gain clarity. You're no longer impressed by attention. You wait for intention. You raise your standards unapologetically. You walk into every room like you belong. Because now, you know you do. You reconnect with your inner power. You guard it like gold. That's how you win. Because let me tell you, when a man sees you rising, when he realizes that you didn't just survive what he put you through, you thrived, that he's different. He thought you'd be stuck. He thought your world would keep orbiting around his absence. But now, you're walking in your purpose. You're glowing like you've got your own sun. You're looking better, standing stronger, moving with a kind of peace he never gave you. And now, he has to squint just to even think about you. And the glow up, it's not just physical, it's spiritual, it's emotional, it's mental. It's in your choices, your calm, your silence, your grace. Suddenly, you're attracting people who truly see your worth. Because now you see it. You're walking differently, speaking with clarity, choosing with discernment. And trust me, word gets around. He's going to hear about it. He's going to see it. And it won't be your Instagram that breaks him. It'll be the fact that he no longer has access to you.
Because that version of you, the one he played with, she's gone. She doesn't live here anymore. This new woman, she doesn't play games. She's building empires from the very pieces he tried to shatter. And the most powerful part, you're not doing it to hurt him. You're doing it to heal yourself. That's the most unstoppable kind of revenge. The one that doesn't look like revenge at all is when you stop trying to be seen by someone who is blind to your value. And you start seeing yourself is when you stop waiting for validation and start giving yourself permission to rise, to grow, to evolve. And that's when everything changes. Not because you flipped the table, but because you outgrew the whole damn room, shattering. His ego doesn't mean becoming like him. It means becoming unforgettable. It means taking every version of yourself he underestimated and turning her into a woman he never imagined you could be. Not for him. For you, Dot, it's not about revenge. It's not about trying to make him feel the pain he gave you. It's about walking away from the wreckage and rising with grace, with class, with a glow so bright it can't be ignored. Because here's the truth. Some men only begin to value a woman when she becomes a memory dot, and when you choose to grow instead of grovel, when you move into the next chapter without dragging his name through the mud. That's when his ego begins to crumble. He expected drama. He expected rage. Maybe a few screaming matches. Maybe some late-night texts. Maybe a messy public unraveling. That's what his ego needed to feel powerful. But instead, he got silence. He got peace. He got progress. And that's louder than anything you could have said. When the man who broke you watches you become better instead of bitter, that's when he starts to realize just how small he really played himself. Because his ego, it was fed by your presence, but now it's starving in your absence. Becoming unforgettable doesn't mean chasing closure. It doesn't mean trying to prove your worth to someone who never recognized it in the first place. That it means carrying on with your life, head held high. No need for subliminal quotes. No need for cryptic captions. You don't broadcast your glow. It's felt. You become a woman who shines so fiercely she can't be dimmed. Not by pain, not by betrayal, not by anyone who couldn't handle her. Light that and trust me, that light, it stays with him long after the texts stop, long after you stop responding, long after your name fades from his conversations. He still remembers. He remembers how you believed in him when no one else did, how you poured into him when he was empty, how you loved him even when he was unlovable. That kind of love leaves a mark. But the tragedy, he never valued it while he had it. He thought it was ordinary. He thought you'd always be there. His ego whispered that he had time, that he could do better. So when you finally walk away, not out of revenge, but out of self-respect, that's when the real weight of his loss starts to settle in. You don't have to lower yourself to get his attention. You just have to rise and never look back. You don't have to become cold just because he couldn't handle your warmth. You don't have to harden your heart just because he failed to hold it with care. You simply let your growth speak louder than your pain. You become unforgettable, not by shouting, not by proving, but by evolving into a version of yourself that no longer entertains chaos. You don't become emotionally cold. You become emotionally unavailable to nonsense. You're not building walls, you're building standards. You're not shutting down, you're rising up. You don't just look better, you move differently. Your posture changes. Your energy enters the room before you do. Your presence becomes peace, and that peace is non-negotiable, and suddenly, he can't reach you anymore. Not because you're playing games, but because you've leveled up to a game he's not equipped to play. His ego, it was used to the old version of you, the one who needed him, the one who waited around, the one who tolerated confusion, half-hearted love, and broken promises, hoping he'd change, praying he'd finally see you. But that version, she doesn't live here anymore. Now, he has to sit with a hard truth. The woman he took for granted has become the woman he can't forget. And it's not because you wanted to make him miss you. It's because you finally remembered who you were before he tried to make you question it. Every time he sees you smiling, not the smile you used to fake to keep the peace, but the real one, the one that comes from freedom. Every time he hears you're doing well, thriving, glowing, he'll feel it. Not because you're doing it for him, but because you're doing it without needing anything from him. And that's the part his ego can't handle. You took the pain and turned it into purpose. You took his silence and built strength in the quiet. You took what was meant to break you and made it fuel for your glow, fuel for your clarity, fuel for your peace. And now, whether he admits it or not, he's haunted not by your bitterness, not by your anger, but by the memory of a woman who walked away in silence and became everything he swore you could never be. See, becoming unforgettable isn't about being loud. It's not about posting or proving. It's about making moves so real, so rooted, that even in silence, your presence echoes. You don't just walk away, you walk higher, you walk stronger. You walk into rooms where your worth is not only seen, it's respected. And while he's out there chasing distractions, you're building your peace. You're writing your own story. You've become the lesson he'll never forget. This story he'll never stop telling, and the standard he'll never reach again. Because you weren't just a moment in his life. You were the mirror. And now that you're gone, he finally sees who he really was and who he'll never get back.